KFWB News Talk 980 and CBSLA.com.
You're listening to KFWB News Talk 980. My name is Les Brown, and we thank you so much for joining us. And I want you to call because we're talking about how do you properly raise young girls with a strong sense of self-esteem. How do you counteract all of the stuff that's going on in the culture that's in videos and on television and their peer pressure and things that's happening at school? How do you steer them away from that and give them a strong sense of identity? Because once a young child gets a strong sense of identity, that gives their lives a sense of purpose. And once their life has a sense of purpose, that will give their lives a sense of direction. The number to call is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. Lori, thank you so much for calling. Hi. How many girls do you have?
I only have one girl.
How old is she?
She's 11 years old.
Okay, and what is her name?
Her name is Noelle.
Noelle. Hey, tell me. Now, what is she very much involved in school?
She is involved in school, but, I am so lucky. I have a husband that tried to dress her really girly, and she never liked it. And recently she came
When you say dress her girly, what do you mean by that, dress her really girly?
Well,
what do you mean?
Kind of like in nice, like short skirts and sandals and kind of, sexy.
Yes.
And I am so lucky because she came home and she said, Mom, I don't like anything in my closet. And I said, well, why don't you get rid of the stuff you don't like? Good idea. She took everything out of her closet. And she said, Mom, I just want to wear T-shirts and shorts.
Now, did you have this conversation? Did you have a conversation with your husband prior to the conversation with your daughter about this?
Well, no, because he just wanted a real girl, and she's a tomboy. And I think she gets that from me, and she gets her self-esteem from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lucky as a kid because I did everything opposite of the way kids wanted things to be. If they wanted me to smoke, I didn't. If they wanted me to drink, I didn't. I've always been a stubborn little girl.
Yeah, that's good for you.
That saved me.
Yes, not following the crowd and being your own person.
Yeah, and my daughter sees that.
Okay, and so she's an independent thinker. So how did you cultivate that in her?
She watches me. I think you learn a lot of the things that you need from your adults.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is you've got to be the message.
You have to be the message. If you don't have good self-esteem, your kid won't have good self-esteem.
You know that old adage say that that old adage that what we do speaks so loudly they can't even hear what we're saying.
I think that is absolutely true. And as long as she's a tomboy, I'm gonna feed that. And it's good,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she won't develop as quickly as other girls, but she has lots of time to grow up and have boyfriends.
Okay. Listen, you sound like a great mother and a caring mother, and you're being the message that you bring. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing your story, and all the power to her. Noelle has greatness in her.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling in. Bye now. Wow. She said her daughter is watching her. She is the message, and because she has a strong self-esteem, she said her daughter picks that up. And there's no question our kids watch us. They said, what's say, big ears have little faces. I can't think of that old saying about kids. Well, the thing is this, they watch us all the time, and so we have to model the behavior that we want to see in them. Hello, how are you? Hello, are you there? Hi,
Hello.
What is your name?
Lilia.
Lilia, thank you so much for calling in, Lilia. Do you have daughters?
Actually, I have a lot of nieces and nephews, but that's it, really. No children of my own.
But are you engaged in their lives?
Oh, definitely. Very, very engaged.
So what are the suggestions you have in how we can begin to build strong self-esteem in young girls so they don't just see themselves as sexual objects as a culture sometimes would lead them to believe?
Well, my family, what my parents did is they taught us a lot about family honor and what our family was about, what it meant to take a stand. And we were Hispanic girls, and our parents were very clear about opportunities of advancement for both sexes of children in the family. So working with my nieces and nephews, giving them a sense of being a part of a family and what that means, that you're answerable to somebody.
Yes.
Think before you take action.
So you're saying that because of the values of family and family honor and what it means to take a stand with your life and how you make choices, and it's not about you, it's about what you represent as far as the family is concerned, and being in alignment with the values of the family.
Yes, and also getting them involved in activities that bring a varied experience, and including some successful experiences, but a variety of experiences, so that you feel good about yourself and you feel like you're not going to give yourself away for free, because you value yourself. You know you're worth something.
Yes. Teaching young girls to value themselves now more than ever before is needed all over the place.
Absolutely.
Listen, thank you so much, Lilia, for calling in, and thank you for listening. The mark of greatness is upon you.
Thanks for your show.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you. All right, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about raising young girls with a strong sense of self-esteem. How do you do that? And tell us the methods that you've used, that you've seen that's been very successful, that you have operated with. The number to call is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. And Gail, thank you so much for calling.
Hello.
Hello, Gail. Do you have daughters?
I have no daughters, and I'm not speaking with any parental experience, but I am speaking as a daughter, obviously.
Okay, tell us now, what did your parents do that gave you a strong sense of self so that you knew the truth of who Gail really was?
Well, I think that they didn't, and I think I'm actually kind of speaking on the other end of it.
Okay.
As far as lack. I'm an adult. I'm 46 years old. I see the weaknesses in myself, and you can't spend your life blaming your parents for your own inadequacies, but it certainly makes an imprint. And although I was raised, I'm listening to the previous caller, I have type family values, was raised to go to church every Sunday, raised with those types of values that I've learned that not everybody is raised with, and I'm very grateful for those. But I had a father that was absent, and a father that was angry, and by absent I mean working out of town frequently, and was not a good communicator and could not talk. And as a young girl, and feeling, of course, perceptions as a child aren't necessarily accurate from a child's standpoint, but not feeling like you're heard. And I think you have to have the adult male influence, and also you have to listen to children and respect them as people, and not just dismiss them.
So you feel that your father dismissed you and did not see you as a little person?
If in some respects.
How did that show up in your life at this point? You look back and see the weaknesses that you have identified. How did it manifest itself, Gail?
I'm afraid. I'm afraid to just be. I'm afraid to, I listen to you speak to people and coach them into you can do it, and yes, you have to make the effort. It doesn't come to you. You have to create that.
Yes.
And my parents did teach me that also. But, and I don't know that this is the entire reason for my feeling this way, but I'm just afraid to try and very insecure. And my father, I think, was a little bit abusive as far as his disciplinary techniques with us as kids. And
was he physical or just emotionally abusive?
And physically.
And physically.
Like spanking harder than you should. And being a little bit more, getting angry instantly, not being able to communicate, not being able to learn how to communicate, and being able to discuss things with the parents. I think there should be a healthy fear that children should have for their parents.
Yes.
But I think you should also go to them, and I know that my parents did the best they could with what they knew. But I think having a father that's present and really tries to be a good communicator and respects, I was never allowed to dress promiscuously or anything like that. I know that was the introduction of your theme today.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate that exists. But, I was prematurely sexually active, and, that has an impact on you as an adult also. And so I just think, I don't know, I guess there's more than one aspect to it.
Well, let me ask you this, though, Gail. When you look at your life right now, if you decided to become the confident person that you have it within you to become, because that's in you, that's available to you at any point in time to tap into that, what would you do that you're not doing now?
I suppose I would be more assertive in learning the things that I'd like to learn, to study, to progress in my life, to develop as a person.
What would it require on your part to give yourself permission to do that, Gail?
Well, I guess it just requires me making the effort to do it, and I can't really describe to you what immobilizes me. I immobilize myself.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know what the fear is. I don't get it.
Well, the thing is that you don't have to get the fear. You don't have to identify the fear. What you can do is decide that it does no longer serve you, because it's serving a purpose in your life. I want you to hold on just a moment. We're talking about the proper way to build self-esteem in young girls. What do you see that has worked, and what worked for you, or maybe it did not work, like what Gail is talking about? She didn't get that. The number to call is 888-539-2980. I want you to call now and share with the audience your story about how we can begin to impact the lives of young girls and build their self-esteem. 888-539-2980, and then we'll be back and talk to Gail, and she's getting unstuck as she listens to my voice right now. This is KFWB News Talk 980.